Good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's weekly town hall meeting, November 21st, 2022. Today's agenda, projects and development updates, documentation updates, marketing and content updates, collaborations, and Q&A. Robinson, please start us off with project and development update.
Thank you. So, as usual, let's start with our engineering metrics. And I guess I must admit that metrics looks different at this time. I'll come to that once these screens are done. So, our change lead time, it's kind of dropping. So that's commit to release time is it's essentially increasing. That's now we are releasing projection is that we are releasing only once in 20 days. This was much better earlier. Part of the reason is because we have not done any releases or deployments. So deployment frequency is 0, which means we have not done any releases in the last 2 weeks, which needs to be improved. And our throughput is also it is also low. That is the number of PRs or MRs that we're creating across various products. That's also following a downward trend. And finally, the change failure rate, again, it's 0 because we have not reported any production issues and there were no releases. I just want to take a moment to explain why our stats looks like this. So what's happening right now is that the development and QA teams are spending a lot of time on ramping up on various new initiatives. And with an older initiative like Next, we're working on setting up the environment for performance engineering, and also we're introducing certain new tools, etc., like Nimbal to automate our testing. And we are also working on test-driven development, introduction of test-driven development. And we've stopped working on certain products like Trade Hands, and we are in the initial discovery phase for 3 projects right now. One is on the blockchain side, we are looking into Substrate. On the DApp side, we are looking into peer view, and where we are actively working with an external collaborator. And we are also working on next steps on together. So essentially, our productivity in terms of commits have gone down, but we have essentially discovery and research happening elsewhere. So that is why our engineering metrics, which essentially looks into the code that we have been churning out, that's why it's kind of looking on the lower side, and lots of zeros out there. And I think hopefully by in the next maybe 30 days or so, we'll have a different picture when we have commits happening across multiple products. So the on the product updates, let's begin with the blockchain updates where we had a hard fork. Now I was a little hesitant about giving exact details about this hard fork in the previous weeks because it was a major issue. So what was happening was in our next we have a feature to not exactly in the next and in the Bitcoin Suns we have a feature to withdraw Bitcoin to any Bitcoin address, and Next started exposing this feature via its new user interface. And this was actually there were edge cases which we are not detecting, and it was causing a chain crash. Now this was not a chain halt triggered by certain any on-chain mechanism, but the chain was crashing because of some database constraints were getting violated. So this was a major stability issue that we had in the chain, which was identified around 3 to 4 weeks back. And the hard fork went live on 19th, and that has finally addressed this issue. This major issue has been identified and fixed now. And moving on to the other updates, we continue to work on the Ethereum Suns, where we are actively testing it. So we are finding certain different challenges, like when there are multiple withdrawals being processed, there are certain edge cases which is not handled, and we're also working to reduce the fee required to withdraw funds. So we're working on those aspects. And moving on to the Sun updates, Sun related scenarios, we have been focusing, trying to identify various edge cases and verifying them. So we have identified few scenarios, and that is also being actively worked on at this point. On the Sun side, especially there are some of the Suns goes down. That is essentially there is a change in the list of active Suns. There are edge cases which we are not addressing effectively. Now that is being chased and addressed right now. And on other major work, we are continuing to work on the substrate and particularly the Moonbeam product base. So in general, we've been testing whether can we deploy Solidity smart contracts, can we use the products from the ecosystem like MetaMask and things like that. So all that works fine. We have certain challenges with respect to using the substrate's native contracts. And we also have certain confusions regarding how to read history across from the Ethereum side and from the default substrate side. So we have been trying to identify these scenarios and trying to come up with solutions. But in general, we are good to proceed with the Moonbeam stack. And by end of this month, we'll have clarity on how to proceed. And early next month, we'll be starting the development based on the new substrate and REST platform. The next item is next, where, as indicated earlier, the focus is we've been introducing TDD and actually test coverage, which was not handled effectively. And regression testing is going on. And yet another major step, we are doing the performance testing, not just for the next platform, next product. We are also doing this for the Faucet APIs and the Witness. So that's also started. So we have successfully started working with the Faucet last week. And we are also trying to integrate certain tools like Nimbal to automate our test process. And in addition to this, we are also trying to deploy an automated environment where we can performance these performance tests in a much faster manner. So there's like a lot of work going on in that direction. Otherwise, features looks pretty much done. We are adding new features like features for NFTs and also improvements for the market screen. So those are certain things which will come next. But first, the focus is on the current, primarily the performance testing and various other things like TTD. Paylink. So here we were talking about this in the previous week. This is a project which will get us connected with various Hive layer 2 solutions and perhaps to other third-party data sources as well, if that there is a chance. And we are continuing to work on the UI and adding support for MetaMask and Hive keychain, etc. And this code base will be part of the or the product code base will be same as the Nexus front end. So essentially, we'll be able to bring in these features to Next as well. We are yet to make releases here, so hopefully in the next few weeks we'll have those releases also done. Okay, so that's all from the development team. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Robinson. Sean, documentation updates, please.
Okay, hello everyone. So for our documentation updates, a review of the next market page functional spec has been complete and everything looks good there. Also, a lot of work is being done on a user story map for our peer view solution. That's the regulatory dashboard for GBC. That should lead into requirements for peer view, so we can hopefully get started on that relatively soon. Also, I'd like to share that I set up a new shared drive, Google Drive, for everybody with a Peerplays email. So you should check your Google Drive and see if that's available there under shared drives. And this is for easily sharing any documents or anything you need that probably shouldn't show up on any of our websites. So that's available for you to use. Let me know if you don't have it, and I can get that added for you. But that is my update for this week. Thank you.
Thank you, Sean. Michael, marketing and content updates, please.
Hey, Kelly. Good morning, everyone. Happy Monday. So this week sees us getting really close to finalizing all of the preparation work with respect to launching a new website. We're still targeting December 1st. We have rejigged the main menu structure. We have included links out to the scenes platform. We have included the links to the new version of Dex. We are pointing to the Peerplays documentation with respect to witness resources. I've been working with Vitor to figure out an appropriate SEO structure for our blogs and an article posting process moving forward. We are test bedding this on the existing version of peerplays.com just to make sure that we can get a successful process flow in there that we have documented and can be implemented with the launch of the new website. I've been working with Oksana and Abigail on image templates just to make sure that there's a consistency from page to page. And again, working with Dave on some language tweaks with respect to the vision statement, which I will share at some point with key individuals in the organization this week. Again, the SEO work is ongoing. We're seeing some traction on our metrics right now, but it's really a dry run exercise to set it up for the new website. Meetings will continue this week with the web team in order to complete this for this week. And again, still on target for December 1st to launch. Thank you, Kelly. Scenes, similar story. Vlad has been working with Avalon in India and Bobinson also to push forward the application development. We are 95% complete on the desktop/web version. On the mobile side, it appears that the Android version is almost ready to go with some additional steps required for an Apple version of the app. Vlad will be connecting with Bobinson to determine the channels list and resources to be identified so that Scenes can actually replace Rocket Chat as an internal chat tool for the product development team. And again, we are aligning this launch with the website launch on December 1st. Any questions around Scene should be directed towards Vlad, and we'll do our best to answer them as much as we possibly can. I've been working with Vitor on a process with respect to our metrics on the back end. We have 3 sources from which we will be gathering those metrics: Google Analytics, obviously, SEMrush and Moz.com, which give us various different iterations of metric analytics that we can implement and get some insight into the behaviors for our website. I think it's no surprise that most of the activity right now is driven through career postings, both on LinkedIn and on our website. So that drives the new visitor stat on our page views and visitor stats. So the work that we're doing with Vitor will really set up a robust SEO structure on the back end so that we can get traction on search engines. Again, this is a dry run to make sure that on the new website, we have everything in place to be able to report effectively once we get around to communicating product launches to our community members. Ongoing work for this week is we continue to interview for the social media specialist position. We had a couple of meetings last week which didn't go that well, but hopefully this week we can continue a positive trend and make a decision on this role very, very shortly. I wanted to thank Ty and his team for providing a really quick turnaround approval on Dex user guide document. Mo completed that last week, and now we're going to start working with Oksana to turn that into beautiful customer-facing assets. So that work will continue this week, and hopefully we'll have some visuals to share for you guys next week. JM and JB, product sessions of last week were really successful. We managed to drill down definitions of Dex, peer review, peer link, and together. That work will continue today and Friday. So hopefully we'll be able to share some descriptive language so that everyone in the organization can have a clear understanding as to what these tools and products form. That's it for this week's marketing update. Thank you, Kelly.
Thank you, Michael. Jonathan, collaboration updates, please.
Thank you. So these are the collaboration updates for Peerplays for this past week. In the gaming sector with Gaming Benefits Corporation and the regulated charitable gaming sector, we had a call where we went over details on things. We've got better alignment with their team now. As you heard from the development side, we are starting to dig in and start development on that. So that's great. Making forward headway on that. The rest of the team is getting aligned to that. That's part of why you see the stats as Bobinson was reporting, not looking as great as they can be. But that's all just a matter of reorganization, so we can move forward on that. In the medical sector, Mars VR. So working with the Mars VR team, that development team is now working on their game integrating with Peerplays. Had another meeting with the directors last week, and they're very excited to get underway with that. There is a kickoff meeting that should be happening this week. Introductions were just made, and so that should be underway. So that's some good development there. And in dedicated team updates, no changes. As you just heard Michael report, though, we are looking for social media specialists still. If you know somebody, feel free to send them towards the Peerplays LinkedIn or to Alka directly in Rocket Chat. So we've had no changes to the team this past week. Those are the updates for this past week in collaboration updates.
Thank you very much. On to Q&A. Questions, comments, thoughts. I'll go over the ones from the community first. So the first one is from Felix. Jonathan, this question's for you. Could you explain why PPY holders would want to prefer a mechanism, GPOs, that forces them to pay steady attention instead of a system that just works in the background and requires some attention from time to time? Will PBSA publish a new roadmap in the near future?
It's an interesting question. So the reason is because they want to have Bitcoin and other blockchains that can be brought into Peerplays, as was stated from the beginning, a multi-currency platform, right? So it took 2 years for that new consensus to be introduced to Peerplays, and PPY holders chose it by voting for the witnesses that upgraded to the new protocol. Prior to that update, there was several months of discussion actually among PPY holders about how it would work and As a matter of fact, I recall we even provided a GUI wallet prior to the change in order to learn how it worked. And PPY holders ultimately voted for security. So that's essentially the explanation. As for roadmap, there's been ongoing discussions and process since the new product officer joined Peerplays team about 5 months ago. How it's getting shared publicly hasn't been reviewed yet, but I suspect there will be some kind of roadmap type sharing in the near future. So look out for that.
Thank you. Question 2 from Sophie. Given last week's very clear answer of no, it's not true that PPY holders could expect profits from just holding PPY, it seems clear that those holders misinterpreted PBSA's earlier communications. At the time of donating to PBSA back in 2017, Peerplays.com had a front page message of profit from every play. If you have Peerplays tokens in your digital wallet, you automatically earn profits from every play, every single day, and in every supported digital currency worldwide. Could you elaborate on the true meaning of that message? How did we misinterpret it? Same goes for the LinkedIn article and the Telegram messages that further confirm the profit share mechanic.
A little strange you would ask this, Sophie, because you already know the answer to this. You were one of the witnesses that actually updated the chain to the new consensus, gamified proof of stake. So this incorporated a security layer needed to build Bitcoin and other side chains to Peerplays. Back in 2019, you, as a witness, voted for by the PPY holders, approved the update for the consensus to GPOS. That was the consensus from all PPY holders. As I already explained in the previous question, actually, this is actually a lead on to the same question, actually. There's no need to elaborate on true meaning of inferred misinterpretation because PPY holders wanted to have a secure sidechain to Bitcoin and decided that incorporating voting support into gaining participation rewards was a fair trade-off in order for us to have that technology. So that's essentially it. There's no need for misinterpretation or anything.
Thank you. And third question from Felix. What are the reasons that Peerplays has that few witnesses?
What are the reasons Peerplays has few witnesses? Okay, so that's an interesting question. So earlier on, when the community launched the chain, the community had elected as many as like 53 witnesses at one time, as I recall. And over time, the community decided we needed less and didn't see as much participation from some of them. So they brought it down to roughly about 30 witnesses around that time. So there was a shrinkage from there. But the biggest drop historically after this was due to the bookie Oracle system requirements becoming too onerous for operators. Because the Oracle system was so elaborate and required so much dedication from the witnesses, they were dropping out simply because they only wanted to produce blocks. They didn't want to have to deal with the bookie system. So we saw a significant portion of witnesses after that dropping out. Over the last few years, though, we've had interest from people who are witnesses from other chains who joined Telegram and then were unfortunately driven away by others there. Other reasons claimed would be the value of PPY token as of now, or lack of liquidity. It's too difficult to set up witness nodes, et cetera, et cetera. Like there's tons of different reasons you can associate to that. Depending on who you ask, they will choose one of those as the reason. I think being reductive to just one thing or another is just oversimplification of the issue, though. The ones that are witnesses now, though, are there because they believe there is a future value in PPY. Not too dissimilar to people who mined Bitcoin when it was nothing but a dream that maybe would turn to something of value one day. These people have enough technical skill to set up a server, run the software, and so they do their part. There's nothing stopping anyone, honestly, from setting up a witness and gaining votes to participate in a similar manner. Anybody can do it if they have the skills to be able to set up a server and run the software. The bottom line, though, is right now, the PPY community, like in its current state, if you just look at it for what it is, the PPY community believes we don't need more than this many witnesses. Otherwise, there would be more. So Peerplays in its current state, though, is capable of scaling to as much as 1,001 witnesses, if necessary. Though obviously, I don't think it would ever reach that. So that's essentially why we have so few witnesses right now.
Thank you, Jonathan. That was for the questions that came in from the community. If there's any live questions here, please feel free to ask them now. The only thing I request is that you state who you are. If there's no questions, I hope everybody has a great week and we will see you at the next town hall. Thank you.